Recruits, gangsters, mobsters, pecan sandies, whatever you want to call them, I don't like them. Murder is never the answer. Also, it's illegal. Unless it's on the moon. That's moon law. But if you are going to be a little mafia boy, you may as well make some cash, right? If you're good at something, never do it for free. So without further ado, here's some of the most notorious mafia hitmen. And because I treasure my life, I might not say anything really bad about them. Number 1. Alright, admittedly, this guy's kind of an uggo, and I'd probably slap him if I saw him. Richard the Iceman Kuklinski, which is a cool nickname, was a seemingly normal suburban husband and father in New Jersey who led a secret life as a prolific contract killer. Alright, let's stop right there. This dude is seemingly normal. Look at the guy. If I saw this guy on the street, not knowing anything about the mafia, I would immediately just start screaming, Iceman, Iceman, that's the Iceman. I wouldn't even know what the Iceman is. I would just look at the guy. Kuklinski operated for nearly 3 decades, from the mid-1960s until his arrest in 1986. He reportedly served multiple crime families, including the Gambino, Genovese, and the Cavavente. So he's the Iceman because he was known to freeze bodies after he killed them so that people couldn't tell when the actual time of death was. They'd be like, what the hell? This guy's frozen. What am I supposed to do? He sucks! So yeah, he's freezing these bodies, confusing investigators, and that's what took them so long to kind of tie these things to him. While there are claims that he killed 100 to 200 people, he was only convicted of 5 murders and given life sentences. Richard Kuklinski died in 2006 in prison, leaving behind a legacy of cold-blooded efficiency. Next, we'll move on to somebody who played a crucial role in Kuklinski's early career. Roy DeMeo headed a particularly violent crew for the Gambino crime family in New York from the 1970s to 1980s. He became synonymous with his horrifying level of brutality, centered around the Gemini Lounge. DeMeo's MO, often referred to as the Gemini Method, involved luring victims to the lounge, where they were typically shot, and then the bodies were meticulously dismembered, often leaving behind no trace. Yikes. This was a bad guy. DeMeo is believed to be responsible for around 200 deaths, either personally or through his orders. And unlike Kuklinski, Roy never faced justice for his crimes, because he was murdered in 1983, likely on the orders of a Gambino boss, Paul Castellano. Our third figure is Sammy the Gravano. Gravano rose to the powerful position of underboss in the Gambino family under John Gotti. Yeah, that Gotti. Unlike the secretive nature of Kuklinski,
you almost made me mad,
and the hidden horrors of DeMeo's crew, Gravano was known for his direct and often brazen involvement in numerous killings within the Mafia. Gravano favored using firearms and was a trusted enforcer willing to personally carry out hits. One of his most infamous acts was his participation in the broad daylight assassination of Gambino boss Paul Castellano and underboss Don Beode, paving the way for Gotti's reign. He also orchestrated the murder of his own brother-in-law, though. To secure a lighter sentence after his arrest on racketeering and murder charges, he famously became a government witness in 1991, admitting to committing 19 murders. His testimony was crucial in bringing down John Gotti. Yeah, that Gotti. Gravano served only 5 years before being released, later facing further incarceration on drug charges. Gravano, man. Moving back in time, we're going to talk about Abe Kid Twist Reles. What a cool nickname. Kid Twist. Reles was a key hitman for the infamous Murder Inc., which was an actual thing. It was a group of contract killers serving various mafia families during the National Crime Syndicate in the 1930s and 1940s. He was known for his unpredictable and sadistic nature. Reles had a particularly brutal and often bizarre MO, famously using ice picks to stab victims in the brain. He was a highly effective and feared killer. After his arrest in 1940, Reles became a government witness and was set to testify against powerful mob bosses. He was secure in a hotel room with 18 police officers standing guard, and somehow he fell out the window to his death, leading to widespread speculation that it was a murder to prevent his testimony. Which, who knows? They said that he just fell out of the window, and I know that I get very close to like the window if I see what I think is a squirrel's nest, because I'm like, is that a squirrel's nest or is that just a clump of leaves? So maybe there's a squirrel's nest. I don't know. Finally, we have another notorious figure from Murder Inc. Harry Pittsburg Phil Strauss. Okay nickname. Strauss was considered one of the most active and prolific killers in Murder Inc. from the 1930s to 1940s. Known for his ruthless efficiency, Strauss was implicated in 19 murders, but some estimates have him up to 100 and even all the way up to 500. Which, no. That's just me, but I'm just saying no. He employed various brutal methods with firearms, knives, and blunt weapons. One disturbing case of his involved the strangulation and burning of Irving Puggy Feinstein. Strauss was eventually arrested, convicted of murder, and executed in an electric chair in 1941, along with other members of Murder Inc., bringing his terror to an end. He should have been on the moon. Moon law. Idiot. And that's it! So, what are your thoughts on these notorious hitmen? Which one could you have taken? Who carries around an ice pick? Why does my wife genuinely freak out anytime I break spaghetti to go into the pot? It has to fit into the pot. I don't want it to be too long and the end gets like burnt if it's on the metal. Maybe the pot is too hot, but it's just simpler. Let me just crack it. Besides, you have to like bite the spaghetti as you're eating it anyway, so you're cutting it with your teeth. I don't get the big deal. That's completely genuine. I don't understand the big deal. And yeah, I'm done. Bye.